Yeah, that's right. I did spend hours of my life researching and putting together a video about famous farts and gas passers of history. Want to fight about it? Roland the Farter. Or, if you want to be fancy, Roland le Farter. He was a flatulist kicking around England in the 1100s. What's a flatulist, you ask? It's a professional ass flapper. Roland was so good at making cheek music that he became an official jester for King Henry II. He even had a special act he performed every Christmas to celebrate the birth of Christ called Sladum Siffletum Pedum, which is fancy Latin talk for a jump, a whistle, and a fart. They all had to be performed at the same time. Just how good was this dude at baking air biscuits? The king rewarded him with a swank joint called Hemmingstone Manor with a sweet 30 acres of land to go with it. All you suckers out there racking up college debt when you could have just been learning how to play Sweet Caroline with your vertical smile. So it's 1607, and there's this big debate in the British House of Commons about the naturalization of the Scottish people. A heated topic. Heady stuff, except Henry Ludlow made it bottomy instead. A fellow by the name of Sir John Croke was reading his message to the House when Henry did a bottom burp that made the House break out into laughter. The laughter didn't end there. News of the ass leak leaked, and a poem made the rounds that would last and be altered and added on to for decades to come. While the poem centers around Henry's anal exclamation mark, the subsequent alterations would update the lines so they satirized the politics of the current day. Bonus points. Henry's dad, Sir Edward Ludlow, did the very same thing back in his day in a committee meeting, so farhand fizzling was in fact a family tradition. In ancient Egypt, a king by the name of Apries was determined to put down a revolt amongst his native Egyptian soldiers. It seemed they were upset because the king was relying more on Greek mercenaries than on locals. Apries sent for his main man, General Amasis, to put down the uprising. But here's the plot twist. The Egyptian troops kind of thought Amasis would make a better pharaoh than that Greek-loving Apries. Apparently so did Amasis, because when the messenger sent to summon him arrived, Amasis cut one loose as his response and told the messenger to take that back to the king. Anyway, battle, and voila, cheeky Amasis became the new pharaoh in 570 BCE. And now to Japan. In the 1770s, there was a talent by the name of Kirifuri Hanasaki Otoko, which translated to English comes out as the mist-descending flower blossom man. Like many true flatulists, Flower Blossom was able to suck air in via his bottom and then squeak it back out again at different notes and lengths. Apparently, gas passing had enough cultural significance in Japan that a series of fairly well-known art scrolls depicting fart-based humor were created. These scrolls, called, for real, Higassen, which means fart competitions, or Hohigassen, which means fart fights, were created during the Edo period, 1603 to 1868. But the subject goes back way further than that. Some Higassen scrolls date all the way back to the Heian period, from 794 through to 1185. How about something more modern? You might remember a British chap by the name of Paul Oldfield, who made the rounds using the stage name Mr. Methane. Starting in 1991, he dressed up as a superhero of sorts, and pumped out tush tunes to the delight of his adoring fans. He even made it onto one of those talent shows where he annoyed the hell out of Simon Cowell. He's also the proud recipient of the Guinness World Records record for having the longest known career as a flatulist. Good for you, Paul. Edward de Vere, the 17th Earl of Oxford, might have let one rip while he was bowing to Queen Elizabeth I. I say might have, because the primary resource on this one is a writer named John Aubrey, who is a known gossip collector. If it is true, Eddie handled it like a true gentleman of the court by running off in embarrassment for 7 years. When he finally returned to court, Elizabeth I may or may not have said, "My lord, I had forgot the fart." Don't feel too bad for him, though. If the accusations of his political enemies hold any truth, Edward was a monster. Now here's a fancy lad. Behold Joseph Pujol, known on the stage as Le Pétomane. Which stage, you ask? Why, none other than the famous Moulin Rouge. While Nicole Kidman and Ewan McGregor were running around the famed night spot, Joseph was up there in the spotlight recreating the sounds of thunder and lightning, blowing out candles placed a good distance away from his posterior, and playing tunes like La Marseillaise and O Solo Mio on an ocarina via a rubber tube. During that time he entertained big swaggering names like Belgium's King Leopold II, Albert Edward the Prince of Wales, and even Sigmund Freud.